Hey guys, this is Dato-Leong, and in this video, I'll explain to you how to deal with Smurfs, and in particularly Smurfs that spams Meepo. I'm a Smurf myself, and I often Smurf in a Divine account just because I couldn't queue with my lower rank friends due to the immortal restrictions. If I Smurf with anything lower than that, games will get too one-sided and it is just not fun. Valve, please bring back Party MMR so I don't have to do this. I'm also aware that there are many Smurf in the extreme low MMR spectrum, and they are there just to beat up lower rank players and taunt them. That is just not cool, and this is why I'm making this video to teach you guys on how to beat these players. Meepo is one of the most abused smurfing heroes that has been played in the lower bracket, and I am sure that most of you have encountered this hero many times, and if you ever got wrecked by a Meepo smurf, please like this video because I'm going to give you the blueprints on how to beat these smurfs. Since I'm a smurf and I'm a Meepo player myself, that should give you a bit of credibility to what I'm about to tell you.
Warning, the clips that are shown in this video are not meant to defame anyone and they are for educational purposes only. This video is made to help the public have a better general understanding of how Smurf abuses Meepo to win and how to play against it.
The reason why Smurfs or MMR boosters are able to stomp games with Meepo is that this hero feeds on players that have poor mechanics, poor map awareness, poor coordination, overall game judgment, and of course, he can be last picked into a draft with no proper Meepo counter. Meepo can easily solo carry the game when he's not properly dealt with, but not to worry, you can beat a Meepo Smurf if you understand what they need to achieve a stomp. Every good Meepo player out there will play around these 5 simple yet underrated cycles, and that is farm, timings, pick off, teamfight, Roshan. Meepo farms extremely fast, and with that he hits his timings. Timing is like a power spike, and once he achieves that, he can make many pick-offs happen while farming at the same time. These pick-offs will allow him to snowball the advantage and get more items, and that will result in a really fat Meepo. Then the Meepo will be extremely strong and tanky, so even if you have the necessary hero to deal with him, he can easily run you over. Once a Meepo beat you in a team fight, he will then take Roshan and end the game. If all goes according to plan, the game will end around 20 to 30 minutes. As you can see, you don't have much time to waste when you play against a Meepo, and you want to take action against him as early as 2 minutes. Meepo is an extremely fast farmer. He's kind of like an alchemist. You give him free farm, he will crush you before you have any items or levels. Therefore, a good Meepo player will farm very quickly and very efficiently. Ideally, every good Meepo player will look to shove the middle lane to the tower, then clear the jungle before the next wave appear, and repeat this for a few minutes until he hit his timings. If you were to give a good Meepo player the amount of space to do this for 10 minutes, you are going to be in serious trouble. So the very first step to beat a Meepo Smurf is to contest his early farm. You have to make sure that he doesn't get all the creeps in lane for free, and even if he does, you want to make sure to do as much damage to him as possible so he will not be able to farm the next wave without the risk of dying. Next, you want to contest his jungle and stacks. Make sure that you either block or steal his neutral creeps before he farms it. Even if the Meepo abandons his lane to the jungle, you are going to get out farmed even if he's not laning at all. So you cannot afford to play sloppy and wait for 10 minutes before contesting him. The moment he goes into the jungle, you have to make your move as soon as possible. I'll recommend purchasing multiple sentries to block his neutral camps as early as 2 minutes, or abandoning your lane completely just to run at him. Just make sure to not give him complete free farm. If you don't own him right now, you are going to get owned later on. If you happen to play against a Meepo that started rotating after he hits level 11 or after purchasing an E-Blade, you are probably not playing against a really strong Smurf. A good Meepo player will abuse his timing based on the early game items, levels, or runes. A good Meepo player can run at you as soon as he has threats, depending on the situations of course. Since there are 2 Meepo, he can always secure the power runes by himself, and that is why you should always give vision of the power rune and camp the runes every 2 minutes. If Meepo gets an illusion rune, a DD, haste or invisibility, someone is going to die. With the early game advantage, a Meepo can easily out-tank you, out-damage you and outrun you, so if you are caught alone taking the outposts or the bounty runes, you are going to die. Feeding a Meepo in the early game is the last thing you want to do, so I suggest you stick with heroes that can kite the Meepo or kill the Meepo, and try your best to bait him out as soon as he hits a power spike. If you are on even farm with a Meepo, your game is looking pretty good. All of this should be done while contesting his farm. A good Meepo will always look to pick off heroes that are alone with one Meepo and farm the jungle or the side lanes with the rest of the Meepo. The main Meepo will usually comes with a few teammates so that they can force a fight. Therefore, you should be looking to avoid the main Meepo and his teammates and kill the clones in the jungle instead. Let us assume that you have done your job well and you have deterred the Meepo from getting extremely farmed in the early game. Meepo can still beat you even when he has even farmed, so keep that in mind. A good Meepo player will always look to take out hero instantly or take out the problems that he will face in the later part of the fights. If you are caught out of position, you will die, and there is a very high chance that the Meepo just snowball out of control during a fight and kills everyone. Therefore, if you have the spells to deal with Meepo or kite the Meepo, you need to be playing like a ghost. Keep your position hidden and not show on the map until the Meepo initiates the fight. Positioning is everything. If the Meepo is out of position, he will die. If you are out of position, the Meepo will kill you. If you are in no position to initiate on a Meepo, be the counter initiator instead. Always try to bait the Meepo into small terrains to fight. The narrower the choke points, the lesser space for Meepo to move around. And if the Meepo can't move, he will not be able to right click and kill anyone. It is important that you prioritize the Meepos above the rest of the heroes. If you are the only one on the squad that have the spell to deal with Meepo, you want to be reserving the spells specifically for Meepo. If you somehow are forced to use spells before the Meepo arrives, you will need to respect the missing Meepo and back off to wait for your cooldown. In most cases, you don't really need to spam every single spell just to kill a Meepo. You just have to kite him and make sure that he's not attacking anyone. The longer you kite the Meepo, the more damage he takes. Roshan is the ultimate endgame plan for any Meepo. Never give a Meepo a free Aegis. If you don't monitor the Rosh Pit well, you are just begging to lose. Meepo is not the best late game hero, and if he fails the high ground attempt a couple of times, he will lose momentum and eventually lose the game. Roshan is the insurance of any high ground attempt and will give the Meepo the confidence to take down your Rex. Thankfully, the Roshan Pit is a massive choke point, and if you are able to find all the Meepo inside the pit, it is very likely that you kite the Meepo there and kill the Meepo. I would recommend warding around the Rosh Pit when the Meepo hits level 18 with E-Blade, because that is when he can completely melt Roshan. But of course, if you realize that the Meepo is missing for quite some time on the map, you should definitely check the Rosh too, even if he hasn't reached his peak. If you were to follow all these guidelines, you should stand a chance to win against a Meepo Smurf. In summary, stop his farm, ward his jungle, steal his runes, don't die, reserve your spells, watch your positioning, and watch Roshan. I hope that I've given you the formula to beat a Meepo Smurf, and if you do have more questions, do leave it in the comments below. If you would like to know how to beat another hero, do let me know in the comments as well. Thank you for staying to the end of the video. If you enjoyed my Dota 2 content, do hit the like, share, subscribe, and turn on notification, and I'll see you in the next video.
in the zone.